In the Symposium, Plato, or specifically the character Aristophanes, if you want to be that guy, delivers a speech explaining the origin of love and why we feel so fundamentally incomplete. He suggests that humans were once spherical double beings, 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces on one head. However, these beings became too powerful and arrogant, trying to scale the heavens. To stop them, Zeus chopped them in half, condemning us to spend our lives searching for our other half to feel whole again. And as life goes, we are condemned to wander this damp rock, shuffling through tinder and dive bars, desperately searching for our missing piece to restore our original nature. It is a beautiful myth. It is poetic. It is also effectively a curse. We have let this ancient campfire story transmute into a modern psychological pathology. We are raised on a narrative that intimacy is a magical salve, a cosmic superglue that will stitch together the shattered pieces of our psyche. We believe that we are fundamentally broken and that someone, somewhere, is a person who functions as a walking, talking cure. But we need to stop romanticizing the idea that love will, quote-unquote, save us. Why? Because placing the burden of your existential repair on another mammal is not romance. It is parasitic consumption. It addresses the vampire in the living room. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, a man who knew a thing or two about staring into the abyss, until it got awkward, warned against the specific flavor of weakness. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he argues that one must learn to love oneself with a wholesome and healthy love, specifically so that one can bear to be with oneself and not roam about. And that is exactly what most of us are doing, roaming about when we lack the ability to sit quietly in a room with our own thoughts. We use partners as distractions from our own hollowness. We turn them into unpaid therapists and emotional crutches. If you enter a relationship feeling incomplete, you aren't offering yourself to another person. You are demanding they fill a void that is mathematically bottomless. You are not looking for a witness to your life. You are looking for a validator of your existence. You are asking another human being to be your serotonin, your dopamine, and your reason for getting out of bed. As Nietzsche suggests, if you cannot command yourself, you will inevitably become a slave to your needs, and by extension, you enslave your partner in a cycle of demand and exhaustion. It is not love, it is hunger. And with the absurdity of the pedestal that your partner is placed upon, and if we zoom out a bit, we see that seeking salvation in another person is a philosophical error that leads directly to despair. We all feel it, that creeping sense of meaninglessness that Albert Camus called the absurd. The universe is silent, and that silence is terrifying. So we try to drown it out with the noise of someone else's adoration. We want our partner to be God. We want them to give our life purpose, direction, and a narrative arc. But consider for a moment the sheer cruelty of that expectation. This is an unfair burden to place on any human being. Your partner is a biological organism. They have bad days. They have irrational fears. They sometimes chew with their mouth open. When we make a partner responsible for our happiness, we strip them of their humanity and reduce them to a function. We treat them as a tool for our stability. Eventually, because they are flawed and human, they will fail to be the perfect cure. And when they do, the dependent partner feels betrayed, never realizing that the expectation itself was the betrayal. Camus teaches us that the only way to deal with the absurdity of life is to face it with individual courage, not to hide behind the illusion of romance. We must face our own demons and find a way to smile at them, rather than asking a lover to chase them away. And you may argue that by its very nature, love is a transformative force, and that humans are social creatures and that we heal best in the presence of others. And it isn't entirely wrong. A healthy relationship can provide a supportive environment for growth, but there is a massive difference between support and causation. A partner can hold your hand while you climb a mountain, but they cannot carry you up it without collapsing themselves. If the foundation of your change comes from the outside, from the fear of losing the partner or the desire to please them, it is unstable. True healing must come from an internal resolution, independent of anyone else's presence. If your self-worth is entirely tied to someone else loving you, then your self-worth is on borrowed time, and it can be repossessed at any moment. So where does that leave us? Are we doomed to be solitary hermits, shouting at the sky, looking for our red string? No, but we must learn to inhabit our solitude before we attempt to inhabit a home with another. In the end, the most profound act of love is not to lean entirely on another, but to stand strong on one's own so that you may walk alongside them. You must envision a relationship not as two vines choking the life out of each other in a desperate bid for sunlight, but as two mighty pillars supporting the same temple. Two columns of stone, they stand together. They bear the weight of the roof together, but they do not lean against one another. If they did, the physics simply wouldn't work. The temple would collapse. To love well, you must first be whole. You must be a cure for yourself. Only then can you offer your partner your fullness rather than your hunger. You must be able to stand in the silence of your own mind and be okay. Because only when you don't need someone to save you are you finally free to actually love them.